Happiness is such a beautiful emotion. It moistens the heart with positivity, optimism, and hope. Happy people are naturally fulfilled at work and satisfied with their life. They experience a sense of gratitude, counting the blessings they have received. And that so often escalates to the emotion of euphoria. Without happiness, success is no longer sweet. We may surround ourselves with the opulences and luxuries of the world, but it doesn't fill the void in our hearts. And victory also provides no relish. Thereby, happiness is the proverbial one in front of all the zeros, that by its presence adds value to everything else, but by its absence, it nullifies the presence of everything in your life. Unfortunately, however, this happiness is also so elusive. We search for it all our lives. But like the rainbow in the horizon, it keeps on receding from us. That is why the necessity of this 7-day series on the need for happiness, the benefits of happiness, the tools for happier relationships, happiness at the workplace, happiness in the face of adversity, and the means for reaching the highest beatitude, the Anand, the bliss of God. Let us begin at the very beginning. When did our search for happiness start? The moment we were born. The first thing we did in entering this world was to announce, "Give me happiness." You may say, "Swamiji, how come we made such an announcement? We were not able to say A, B, C, D, K, K, G, G." It was not an empty slogan of words, but a cry of our soul. What did we do upon birth? We cried. And why did we cry? Because in the process of birth, we experienced pain. And by crying, we revealed our nature. I have not come in this world for pain. I have come for happiness. Give me happiness. And from that day till today, the search continues. Everybody has different understanding of where happiness lies. Somebody thinks, Mahesh thinks it'll come from professional success. Dinesh thinks it'll come from social reputation and prestige. Meena thinks she will find it in relationships. And Beena hopes to get it from PhD degrees. But Mahesh, Dinesh, Suresh, Ganesh, Meena, Beena, Neena, they are all looking for the same one thing. And why do I say it? Because you ask Mahesh, why do you want professional success? He says, it will give me a lot of money. So why do you want money then? Money will help me get the things of the world. Why? What kind of things do you want? 5 kinds. Things to see, things to hear, things to taste, things to touch, and things to smell. God has given us 5 knowledge senses. with the help of which we do Shabd, Sparsh, Roop, Ras, Gandh. And the whole world is a subject of our five senses. So we want these five kinds of objects. Yes, says Mahesh. Why do you want these five things? It will give me happiness, joy, bliss, peace. So this series of questions ended at happiness for Mahesh. If we ask the same series of questions to Ganesh, why did you ask? Why do you want this? Why do you want that? Why do you want that? Again, it will end at happiness. And so will it for Nina and Bina as well. You can go and ask the series of questions to anyone, anywhere in this world. The ultimate conclusion will be that everybody is searching for one thing. Aristotle, who came 2500 years ago, it seems, understood this principle. That is why he wrote, "We choose honor, wealth, and prestige because they bring us happiness. But we choose happiness for itself and never with a view for anything further." Aristotle would have been shocked out of his wits had he known that 2500 years before him, that's 5000 years ago, there was a philosopher in India called Vedavyas who had already stated the same thing. Sarvesham api bhutanam nripasvatmaiva vallabha itare patya vittadyas tadvallabha tayaivahi. He says we choose honor, wealth, marriage, children because they give us happiness. But now, let me ask you the last question. Why do we want happiness? This is the final question of the series. Why do you want happiness? I don't know, Swamiji, but I know that I want happiness. Is there anyone in this world who wants misery in opposition to happiness? Nobody. Very surprising. Otherwise, we differ in every possible way. Our facial appearance is different. That is why your Windows, Face ID, Windows opens up because of it. I have tried so many times with reading glasses, without reading glasses, with tilak, without tilak. But somehow Windows can still recognize, welcome Swami Mukundanand. That means something about the face is different from the other 8 billion faces on the planet Earth. That is why when you enter the United States nowadays, you don't need to fill in forms. They say stand in front of the camera. Swami Mukundanand, yes. Okay, go in. Our biometrics are also different. This little bit of skin on the tips of our fingers, it's filled with prints that differ from everybody else. Our voice harmonics are also unique. That is why I get into trouble very often. When I reach, somebody gives me a call, Radhe Radhe Swamiji, you've come to America. Yes, Radhe Radhe, who's speaking? You guess. How should I guess? Is this a video call? No, you have to recognize from my voice. So, he is assuming that Swamiji hears 50,000 voices, but he should understand from my Radhe Radhe that it's different from everybody else's Radhe Radhe. This is Amit Kumar. And invariably you also recognize your friends. In fact, our bodily aromas are also unique. We don't understand, but the dog does. You go to meet your friend, their dog looks and starts barking, who is the stranger? But then it comes to sniff you. and remembers, oh, this smell, it's in my memory, he's an acquaintance. What I mean to say is, the Creator has filled so much of variety in this world. No two trees are alike and no two leaves of a single tree are matching. Yet, in this matter, we are all one. We all have one slogan of happiness. Did somebody teach us to seek happiness? As we received so many instructions while growing up. My child, you should not make halla gulla in pravachans. You should tell the truth. You should not steal. Did somebody teach us? My child, you must make happiness the goal of your life. It should not come about that you start running after misery. This instruction was never given to us. Intuitively, we knew the purpose of our life, to be happy. And through the day, we do reverse activities, but the goal remains the same. Like, for example, presently you are sitting and listening to the lecture. Is it giving you a little bit of joy? At least just to make me happy in pretense, you can say, yes, Swamiji. But supposing I keep speaking till midnight, I'll be the only one left. Why are you getting up? Swamiji, your lecture became so boring that getting up is giving me happiness. So earlier, you were sitting for joy. And when the joy dried up, you are now standing for joy. The activity has reversed, but the purpose has remained the same. In fact, the Vedas say, the reason why we cry is because it makes us happy. So this is counterintuitive. You would think that we laugh for happiness and cry for misery. But the Vedas say, no, no, no. Ask somebody, why are you crying? My father passed away in COVID. So I cremated him and came, and my mother passed away in COVID. So I cremated her and came, and my house got damaged in the storm. My question is, why are you crying? If there is misery in crying, you had one misery of father passing away, one misery of mother passing away, and now you want to add to this by the misery of crying? No, Swamiji, all these miseries that befell upon me, by crying, I am taking them out. It is giving me a sense of relief. Otherwise, if I don't cry, I will go crazy. See, when the distress went beyond certain limits, the person is crying and releasing it. And that is giving a little feeling of relief or happiness. So we even cry for the sake of happiness. This 24-hour pursuit has continued since the beginning of life. Now the most astonishing thing, this pursuit is not of one life. It's an eternal pursuit. The soul has no beginning, just like God has had no beginning. Since when have we all existed? Ever since God has existed. And since when has God existed? Ever since we have existed. I once asked a little child, Beta, where is your father's home? He said, Swamiji, it is in front of my uncle's home. So I said, then where is your uncle's home? He said, Swamiji, it is in front of my father's home. Now, I cannot ask the GPS that where is his uncle's and father's home. So I said, where are both of them? He said, Swamiji, they are both in front of each other. So it's still not becoming clear. So I ask, likewise, if you go on Monday to office and somebody asks you that where did you spend the weekend, you say, I went for Swamiji's lecture. And they say, okay, in that case, can you tell us, since when have we souls existed? You can tell your friend, we have existed ever since God has existed. And if your friend asks again, since when has God existed? You can say, ever since we have existed. And if your friend asks a third time, since when have we and God existed? You can say, since when even the question when did not exist since then. Because time begins upon creation. Before creation, there is no time. You make a watch and set it into motion. Likewise, God creates the world and starts time. Aksharat sanjayate kalaha. Before creation, there was no time, but the soul has existed since then. It means that our search for happiness is not of one life, but an incessant search over infinite lifetimes. That is why we need to get at the bottom of this puzzle of happiness. So before we dive into how to become happier, let me inspire you on the need to understand these tools by relating a few very tangible benefits of happiness. The first, happy people are healthier people. Happy people have more robust hearts. They are less vulnerable to cardiac problems. Happy people have a greater resilience to stress. Happy people have stronger bodily immunities. A very vital point in pandemic times. Because you take one vaccine and then you come to know that the coronavirus has mutated. So you take the booster and then you know it has mutated again and then again mutated. So definitely we must take the vaccine, but at the same time must focus on enhancing your immunity. So how do you increase your immunity? There's a direct correlation between your happiness level and immunity. This was studied by a group of scientists led by Sorota. What they would do is, they would give pathogen pills to consenting patients and then study the antibody response through their saliva after a little while. And this would be repeated week after week after week. They would also have to fill in a questionnaire on how happy they were on that day. So they saw their happiness level on a particular day and their antibody response and found a direct correlation. When you are a happier person, your immunity also gets boosted. So with so many health benefits related to happiness, does it mean that happier people live longer?